hectares of land in this province before. It is a province.
Okay.
As American military land 1906.
Yeah.
Then it's part of the military because Philippines is part of the American control. Then after the war, the 1,000 hectares of land turned over to Philippine government. But 61 hectares of land still control, and the American government, they unite together that American more on rights to control this land and landscape as part of the American final tombs of the American military who died during the Second World War in Southeast Asia Pacific.
Wow, okay.
If you see the cross, that's the final tombs. No, 17,206 from far away, from different states of US. They came in Southeast Asia to fight freedom to another Asian countries against the Japanese invasion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Let's say more than 53,000 of tombs is located there. Because if you see the cross, 17,000, but all names, look at the walls, 36,000, they are missing in action.
Man, that's a lot.
So if you imagine how many all in military,
36,000.
36,000.
Listen,
It's only here. But another American Arlington, another memorary of Second World War is there.
wow. Wow.
See? So war is not good.
No, it's not. Not at all.
But like Russian president,
Few.
Chinese president,
Mhm.
North Korea president like war.
Right.
Yeah. So every war committed, the victims is almost the innocent. Even the military never like war. Some military never like war like that.
Oh, yeah.
But they are military, so in a way, you must be doing
Yes.
what is the job you like to join the military in any government.
Yes.
Okay?
Right.
So we have but your origin is in US, Washington DC. The center.
Yes. Capital.
So on your left, that's part of American Naval Forces and the Filipinos. Your names engraved, those are missing in action.
Okay.
On the right side, the American Air Force and the Philippine Army also missing in action. The total is 36,279. Those are missing in action in Southeast Asia during the war that the American designed as the final tombs of the missing in action.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I think if you imagine more than 53,000 in the Philippines, but more on 70,000 because we have another memorial park in the north of Manila. The victims of war, what is the death march? That's when the Japanese took over in 1942 in the north. That's the military bases, the British aircraft, the British Air Force totally to control the Japanese because of the American military land to the Bataan Peninsula in the mountain almost 3 months but American lack of supply. So as order the American group to surrender the Japanese headed by Main White and the American general in Bataan. So they are speaking only 35,000, but in this group of Filipinos American surrender is about 70,000.
Oh, man. Wow.
So almost out of 70,000, almost 20,000. No force, water, and some American and Filipinos try to escape, but the Japanese always shooting. So almost 20,000 people died after the big marks. Two both in the center camp, called Camp Colonial.
So the Japanese occupied the Philippines.
1942. Up to 1944, American came back, led by General Douglas MacArthur with some Australian or some Allied forces to support how to cover against Philippines against the Japanese invasion.
Wow.
But in Manila, the final liberation, it was happened inside the walls of Manila. That's why what is Intramuros, the whole Manila. Intramuros is only one building with instance for outside. In Manila, almost 200,000 people died during the liberation.
Oh, wow.
So the liberation it was 1 month, February 3, 1 year before. 1946, July 4, American given the throne of the Philippines. What is July 4? Freedom of U.S. also given to the Philippine government.
Ah.
Right. Before July 4th, it's celebration of the Philippines. But 1960s, President Diosdado Macapagal always decided that American celebration of July 4th is only American Presidency celebration. Because 1898, before the American took over the Philippines, we have our own freedom against the Spanish government. In the Filipinos, we call bloody freedom against the Spaniards. June 12, 1898. That's why now our Philippine independence is every June 12.
Wow.
This coming June 12 is 125 years freedom celebration against the Spanish government.
And so the Philippines fought their way out of Spanish conquest, or did they just stop the conquest?
They
Stopped. Okay. It wasn't a fight.
But we didn't fight him.
Okay.
Because, but the problem, 1898, in the Filipino, 1896, Filipinos start to fight bloody freedom. It's the Spanish-American War.
Yeah,
So
okay.
before the Spanish lost to the American, what is the Treaty of Paris, December 10, 1898, that Philippines sold to the American $20 million.
Oh, wow.
So even our Philippine flag rise up, but because of the treaty, Filipino has no rights. So the American the conflict of Filipino Filipinos declare war against the American. So for almost 3 years, Filipino-American war, almost 20,000 sa Filipino died. So for 3 years, the American the American bring more on teachers to introduce public education system. And the first American Governor General worked hard in the Philippines. That's William Howard Taft. He was a governor. Back to US, he was a governor. As a president. See? Yeah. See? So there are many group of foreigners more on question about this. Because some foreigners looks more on Filipinos to decent houses. Some foreigners say, I wonder why the Philippine government allow to the American go to use this in whatever part. It's very nudes. And I know more on Filipinos is no decent houses in the Philippines.
They say what?
Decent houses.
Okay.
No houses, you know.
Right.
And why the government took over there and built the houses given to the poor Filipinos. So my answer, you know, what is the history of the Filipino and American relation?
Right.
Good, memorable history. That's why these thousands of American from different states unite together to sacrifice their life to fight freedom, not only in the Philippines, but also in other Southeast Asian countries. That's why this is the final resting place as both leaders or both officers of the government decide to use this one as a living place of the fallen military, like a holy place that people who sacrificed during the war. So in terms of for Filipinos, we have more Philippine government, they have more on land, but this land is very historical in terms of what is the relation of Philippine and American. So it's not good to transform this land as living place of the Filipino for Filipinos because more Filipinos, rich government giving more lands, giving the houses, but that problem, more on problem, the houses that totally built by the government for the poor Filipinos, after years came, the Filipinos who received the house given by the government also sold to other person. So we have a problem in the Philippines because back to 1950s, the goal of the government, every government took over, giving the land that the Filipino owned the land because some Filipinos is no land. And government buy the land and built the houses. Decent houses give it to the Filipinos, but some Filipinos sold to others. That's why, for me, I cannot blame why some people is very poor. Because if you go to the remote area, the low-class Filipinos, they have their own job, but after work hard, always drinking wine or gambling or drugs. So if you are a poor Filipino, you must be sacrificed that you can also boost up what is your life that you can change again because you must be.
Is it hard for people to advance in careers?
No, because the problem, you know that you are poor, but government they have more on free education system that can help that Filipinos goes to the high school, goes to the college, all free.
Oh wow, man, free?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's nice. I had to pay for my school, but they let you go for
Because
free?
in the Philippines, that's American start to introduce public education system.
Oh, you talking about high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, in my country.
In college, we have also college is to pay for the government. Free. Yeah. And also, if
Wow.
your family cannot afford what is your daily expenses, we have another one they call study now, pay later, that you can borrow the money for your expenses of your education.
Oh well, yeah, we have loans in my country too. That's how people do it.
But if you want, we have a state university. Then we have a university with the American. If you cannot pass the entrance exam because you're not too much smart,
Right.
you can transfer to another state university that you are very well. If you're not lying to take degree courses after your high school, the Philippine government another vocational score, you can take 6 years, 6 months or 1 year or 2 years as manpower. All free for the government. That's why now, millions of Filipinos, we are very qualified to work around the world. Because after the pandemic, more on European country always open
Yes.
to the Filipinos.
Yeah. And a lot of Filipinos, they like to get jobs as nurses because it's easy to
Yeah,
get into a lot
nurses
of
is one of, that's why we have a big problem in terms of nurses. Philippine government is shortage of nurses because most of the nurses, they want to work abroad.
Yes.
Because you work hard in Manila or everywhere as under by government, like 24,000 a month. But in abroad, almost 160,000 a month.
Right.
You can see more money. What is your dreams? What your goal is to help your family also.
Yes.
To help your sister that they can take continuous another profession if they want to take another profession.
Yes.
And you can help your family that they can build their house or they can start their own business also in the Philippines like that.
Yes.
So because even people, if you have a dream, that's why you work hard. But if you have no dreams, it's not good for you.
Yes.
You are stupid people. It's not good that you are born in the world.
Yes.
If you have no dreams of your life.
Exactly.
If you see here, if you focus, this is the Philippine map.
Okay.
7,000 641 island. That's Mindanao. So look at here. This is Zamboanga. So this is Basilan. If the most is located here, so the airplane is here. Then from airplane, see,
Yeah.
you transfer the boat, goes here.
You said the mouse is here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And this is the capital of food basket. But here is seafoods is very cheap, cheap foods. Because most of the seafoods from Manila also came from this part.
Wow.
And look at this island, this more on here, that facing to Borneo. Well, because Borneo is part of the Philippines before.
This is out in Indonesia, right?
Yeah. No, that's Brunei.
Brunei.
Yeah. See, Palawan is there. Palawan is also here. But this Borneo closer to the island of Mindanao, that's why most on culture is like Islam culture here.
Oh,
The origin
so
of
right here is
Islam.
Islam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is the Islam. Asian country also Borneo. Let's say the king is there, Brunei.
Oh, I thought that was Indonesia for some reason. So that's a whole separate country.
Indonesia is another facing here. Indonesia.
Okay. Interesting. So, when you know the Japanese were moving through different parts of Asia, did they try to take over Indonesia?
Yeah, here.
They did.
That's the red arrow that you can see there is part of Japanese invasion. As Japan begin what is the conflict of US and Japan. That's the beginning that Japan they control everything in some portion of Southeast Asia.
Wow.
That's the map. That they want to control everything, any kinds of resources. Because the American also order to other countries to stop import or export during the time.
Oh,
That's
wow.
why Japan is advanced to control some Asian country during the time.
Wow.
Then when the American came back, this is the first island took over by General Douglas MacArthur. Almost 3 days war, no, 23 up to 26 of October 1944. So the Leyte Gulf more on the water like Red Sea.
Wow.
Thousands of American and Filipinos American also died before the American, led by MacArthur, very successful to take over the first island. Then the second island in the south, they call Mindanao. In Dinagat is the second island took over after Leyte. They moved to other islands of Visayas. They control, then they goes to Luzon. That's part of Luzon. See? Yeah. That's why Manila is the last liberation conducted.
Oh, wow.
So almost Manila 1 month, February 3 up to March 3. So that's why the most devastated is Manila because Intramuros almost controlled by 20,000 of Japanese during the time. So Japanese more on control the whole area. The Americans they came again with the Filipinos, so that's why they more on cordon. So Japanese is very aggressive to massacre, to burn the building, and to rape the Filipino woman. Some kids they throw up and cuts by a knife. If they rape the woman, they cut the breast.
Why would they do that?
It's part of what is the very aggressive because Japanese is more on prostrated, and not only by Japanese because also they are more on Korean. Korean is under with the Japanese military because like a prisoners in Korea under the Japanese. That's why they brought here. They are open as a military, so they commit more on crimes to the Filipinos. If Korean commits crime, more on blame to the Japanese because Filipinos no idea this is Korean and this is Japanese. if you see the asterisk beside the name, so that asterisk to justify the name is not longer below because the remain it was found. But this is the local courses is the basic of mine that remains under the water. That's why you can see too much more on the asterisk in the name. Another 21, the names middle of the name painted by gold, that's middle of honor. 21 middle of honor here from the naval courses. What is your family name?
Oh, something.
You want to see your one. Air Admiral, US Navy, California. Military before he died. That's why that's part of the building. Washington, Indonesia, US Navy. Because during the time not too much Filipino also joined to the forces. Except after the war, it's American invited more Filipinos to join the US Navy. That's why now more on Filipinos is working in US as part of the US Navy also.
Wow.
Even my niece is in US now, working under by the US Navy. Because they are migrating there with his family.
Yeah.
So he worked as a nurse in the US Navy. This is a nurse, but belong to the US Navy.
Oh, so now the U.S. they made a deal with the Filipino government to where they would allow
The new
Filipinos
actually,
to come to the Navy.
2016, when the problem of the West Philippine Sea against China, so we have a IDCA that can give more rights to the Philippine government that American came back here to hold their military power in some designated islands. The goal of the government to develop again their own runway or the facilities of American that can bring again. But the problem, after a month, the new current government took over, that's Duterte. And Duterte Obama is, the relation is not too much good.
Yes.
Does it nothing happen? But this new government, both Marcos, more on favor what is IDCA can help the critical condition in Southeast Asia against the Chinese government.
Oh, wow.
That's it, more on, they have 5 islands or more. That totally, this island is the designated location that the American military can bring their military bases. So now, they have ongoing development about the runway, about the port, that American bring back their military power in some designated island. That the location is very strategic to bring it to the Chinese government.
Interesting.
So in Palawan, we have another 2 islanders that's facing to China and in between to China and Taiwan, because we have a biggest problem now in Taiwan. It's the Chinese government, because the Chinese government, they wanted to control Taiwan, but the Taiwan government never liked Taiwan under the Chinese government. American government is there.
Let me ask you a question. I'm turning with the camera.
Some A working in the church, like not only for the Roman Catholic, but there are many religions. So if you never like what is the issue of different Christian religion, some issue is the leader of the church, they rape the young lady, like that. So that's why, because people, you are work in terms of word of God, but you are a man and you are human. So time to time, the sense is always there.
Right.
So sometimes
that's a pretty horrible thing to do to somebody.
Yeah. It's a very horrible
I
thing.
mean, that's a kid.
Yeah.
And,
We have here, if you know Angeles, Angeles is more on kinds of child abuse.
what?
Child abuse.
Yeah.
Because the young lady, like 14 years old, but is a victim of child abuse by some foreigners.
Mm.
But the problem, the victims of child abuse, because sometimes the owner of the club, they recruit these young children, then introduce to some foreigners, and the foreigners like young lady. Then when this lady working club, the foreigner, they propose him to help him in any problems in terms of money. Then later on, he bring the houses, but then sleeps inside. They are not allowed to go outside except the foreigner make him outside. So life is controlled by the foreigner giving partner.
So you tell me, like, you have a little kid, like 14-year-olds in a house, and they just stay there to have sex with.
They with six with the foreigner that proposed.
No, no. It's all...
Hindi pa nagulang dito. Ngayon pa lang. Nandito na tayo. Okay, this is the university. The Mapua Institute of University.
Oh wow.
Okay? That's the engineering school.
Oh man.
See?
Yeah.
This is the street food that you can eat your lunch
Oh wow.
or snacks.
What's
So,
a popular snack, Filipino snack?
always, you know,
Is it like a name, like chips or like a dish?
potato chip or this or sticky rice
Sticky
or
rice.
Jollibee, McDonald's, or this
Okay.
a burger. And another Lyceum Philippine University is a big university again.
Hmm.
This is the center of university built during Spanish time. One of the oldest school here began 1611.
Ah.
But the move outside, the University of Santo Tomas, one of the oldest pontifical school in Southeast Asia.
Oh wow.
So before the pandemic, this is like a dormitories of different group of students from different schools and universities.
Okay.
So we have McDonald's and the 3 branches of Starbucks.
Oh wow. Okay.
Look at the new building as offices and apartment or residential area. But the old infrastructure from 1620, this is the second oldest school, is for the boys. No? But now it's open, it's a college. Look at that, they are the champion of NCCA and any sports also.
Okay.
But the biggest university now outside the world.
Wow.
This is the chambers, the storage of the Spanish military in terms of imported goods or equipment or hospital supplies. Because what is the river located on the right is the port. Like Manila, China, Acapulco galleon trade within 200 meters, 50 years is here.
Oh wow.
So this building is ongoing reconstruction. This is the original Spanish custom house before.
Hmm.
Because beside, at the back of that building, that's the river as a pool of Manila. Even before the Spanish came, the Manila Acapulco galleon trade is there. American time is there. They later on moved to Manila Bay.
Okay.
And Philippine name after King Philip II. That's the monument of King Felipe. Philippines. It's the monument of the King of Spain.
Okay.
And before, this is one of the oldest school from 1611. But now is a condo and the offices. Wala na oh. prop chambers of the Spaniards. The main purpose is the storage, but the British also storage, American storage, but Japanese time also used as part of prison cell for the prisoners.
Oh wow.
Like 35% of the wall damaged and it was restored again. Same volcanic stone, that's why more on look like original.
Oh wow.
Then the number one attraction before back to 1960s is more on vintage car in the Philippines.
Volcanic stone is what
Yeah.
this is made out of. Wow.
Made by volcanic stones. Then 1990s, the new government transformed as commercial chambers. So it is the coffee shop, souvenir shop, and the office of Intramuros Visitor Center also.
Okay.
So I was working here before. So I worked here like 20 years before.
Oh wow. Awesome.
There's a main place inside.
Wow. Okay.
Look at the walls, the facets. So bulwarks in terms of defense, more on cannons in the top as well. So this is the rock. And this is the passage goes to the reducto. Reducto is another fortification in terms of defense. Outside the wall, they have their own storage of gunpowder, more on cannons in the top as part of defense facing to the Manila Bay.
Okay.
So this is part of the ruins in Instant Survive. But originally this is part of the American military barracks.
Okay.
So what you can see here now is more on bullet holes. That's the original ruins of the American military.
Okay.
So the ground floor of the building also more on Filipinos incarcerated during the time.
Yeah.
And one of the Filipino senator, 1943, LPG Quirino, he was incarcerated with his two brothers and some Filipinos.
Okay.
But after 16 days, the Japanese military gave more freedom to the Filipino prisoners of war. That's why the former senator that he was incarcerated inside also took over in the Philippines after the war as a Philippine president, like a sixth Philippine president during the Philippine Republic.
Okay.
So another attraction here, this is one of the biggest Spanish cannon that was found inside the wall. But this cannon it was found along the river because river is more on center of transportation before. So maybe this cannon it was put in the top of the walls before, but it was stolen, falling down to the riverside. That's why when the government start to archaeological excavation, so they found this one, and it was brought out there, and they put this area as part of the attraction. What is the attraction of all tourists here? So this is the most high speed. So you see the barrel. So this is the sign that this is one of the most high speed cannon before in 1800. Because if you talk about the oldest Spanish cannon is almost using the gunpowder, you post inside, then after the gunpowder, you put the cannonballs, then the piston, you put the fire like 500 to 600 meters. But this one, the biggest shell is put there. If the half shell land to the target, so they explode again. That's why this is one of the most sensitive, high-tech Spanish cannon during the time in 1800s.
Yes. Well, how you doing?
See, this is the ruin. Oh, look at the bullet holes. So Filipinos is no idea to build the houses made by stone. So the houses made by stone began during Spanish time. Then American time more on belt made by solid and cement or even the steps. So this is part of the original military battles built by the American during American.
Wow.
So the name of the senator is always put together. It's part of the history. That's the former senator gave a history in terms of prisoners of war.
Wow.
If you talk about the famous American General de Gaulle or the goal before the withdrew in Manila goes to Australia to establish the Allied, MacArthur said, let's preserve Manila and Intramuros never destroyed by war. But when the American came with the Filipinos that start to fight February 3, Japanese is very aggressive to go and massacre the Filipinos. So the American decided to drop more on bomb. And this is one of the biggest American bomb, like 500 pounds.
Oh man.
But this bomb is not totally working. Almost missed during the time. But if you can see more on, this is the another type of American aircraft bomb. Pwede ba ignitor? So this two bomb it was found. But more on bomb that totally never worked during the time. That's why if you talk about the walls, the houses, the ruins survived. So most of the properties destroyed by the American, like 60%.
Oh wow.
And some 40% is born and destroyed by the Japanese. So the American totally more on drop, more on bomb, like more on carpet bomb. It was happening inside and outside Manila, or outside Intramuros during the war.
Oh wow.
So if you talk about this, this is another gun. This is like 1571 when the Spanish found Manila, led by Legazpi. This is like the original. So you push the gunpowder, the cannonballs. But this cannon is more on shorter than other Spanish cannon. So this cannon almost put side by side of the galleons that were more on shorter. You see more on tallest than their one. More on the cannon put in the front of the galleon to fight. More on more on more on longer perimeter, more on 600, more on 800 or 1,000 meters. Because more on short cannons, not too much long. What is the long range of the bullet if they are very short, so not too much strong. If they're tall, that's why more on 1,000 meters that the ball can hit the target.
Wow.
So during the excavation, what you can see, another anchor. This is the anchor that some people said, or the experts said, this is part of the American anchor. It was found along the river. Because what is the river before is part of the port. Or Pasig River as one of the longest river in Metro Manila, considered also as the main highway. So until now, also used by some imported goods dropped to another city of Metro Manila. So from Manila Bay, transferred to the small ship and bring to different storage along the river of Manila. But the problem, time to time, what is pollution, what is infrastructure, the population. So the water is part of the source of water to clean, to swim. But now the most polluted river also in the world is here in Manila, or the Pasig River.
Oh, so that's where I'm staying at.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what smell.
the smell.
Yes. Okay. Interesting.
That's why you smell Manila.
Yes.
That's the real smell of Manila. What is the ocean along the coastal area?
Yeah.
So because the creek is there, that's why if you go outside the hotel, you enjoy the smell. If you enjoy the smell, you enjoy the smell of Manila.
Yeah.
It's true.
Right. So.
So as one of the oldest fortification, that's why if you see the walls, more on very dark. And the main gate is there. But the gate is, the upper portion totally collapsed because of the American Sherman tank force to cover inside. during the war.
Did the American who?
The American destroyed the Sherman Town,
Okay.
destroyed the gate.
Okay.
This is the gate before the war. It's a wonderful. Oh, look at that. See? They have their own second floor. And the second floor is the living of the Spanish military, the British, American, even Japanese.
Yeah.
But destroyed during the war. Only the gate restored. This is the gate of Port Santiago after the war.
Wow.
See? After the war. This is the gate. And the gate is there.
Oh, because it brought a tank in.
The American Sherman Tank.
Oh, wow.
That's why it was restored again. What is the design always there? The guy who ride the horse is Saint James, one of the apostle of Jesus, to kill the Moors, because even the Moors ruled by Spain for almost 800 years. So Saint James, the patron saint of the Spanish military, so restored again. That's why Saint James is always there in the town.
So those people that's in the southern part of the Philippines, they're descendants of the Moors.
Yeah, like Filipinos also Moors. Even some portion of Manila, even the rulers of Manila, like a Moors, is Islam.
Right.
Yeah.
And so did the Spanish people, once the Spanish people kicked the Moors out of the Iberian Peninsula in
Yes,
the late 1400s,
of course,
they didn't come back over here.
Yeah.
They didn't come back over here, I don't think.
No, because this is another groups of Moors.
Yeah, because the Moors mixed in with the people that was already here.
But
so
the Filipino Moors, because the Arabs came, that's
Yeah.
why they start also like Islam. But what is the other Asian countries belong to the Islam? Let's say before the Spanish came, more on Filipinos, they are belong to Islam.
So with this, in the 1300s, were these people the Moorish people or the Arab people? Because
No, they're mixed. They're mixed.
Yeah, because when I read about the Berber people and the Moorish people, it was the people that ruled the Iberian Peninsula of Spain.
Yeah.
They were a mixture of the Berber, the Moors, and the Arabs, and they were all in Islamic.
Yeah.
And so
But-
the name that they gave those people in the southern part of this country is called Moros, which
Yeah.
is short for Moor. It was a change of the name of the
Yeah.
Moors, right?
The Moors.
Yeah.
And in English they call Moors.
Yeah.
But it's Moros.
More.
Yeah, Filipino Moros.
Okay.
There's a Muslim Filipino. Like
Yeah.
a Moors.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why like the guy who
That's why I came
that's
here.
why
by the way.
even during Spanish time,
Yes.
the Filipino Moors always try to fight against the Spaniards in the Philippines. That's why some islands in the south of Philippines, the Spaniards is no power to control, because the Moors is always fight to be there.
And this is because of religious conflict.
Yeah, because this is origin. They never like what is the Christianity.
Yeah.
So this water is part of defense to the main gate that is not easy access to go inside. That's why original is through bridge. But the American bring the auto car, so the American built the bridge as a permanent bridge.
Yes.
Because American bring the car.
Wow.
Before the Spanish time, only the horse carriage.
Yeah.
And so after the war, most of the American Jeep and wheelies auctioned to the Filipinos, and the Filipino modified. That's the beginning of Philippine jeepney as our public transportation. Then later on introduced the buses. But jeep is a part of American jeep. That's why knee, because if you're sitting side by side, if full of passengers, it's not easy to fit your knee. Always touching to another knee. That's what they call jeepney.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, if you see the water is, it's not a stagnant water. This water is connected to the river, and the river connected to the mouth of the salt water. That's why this is mixed salt and fresh water.
Okay.
Yeah, because river is the fresh water from the mountain, from the lake.
Yeah.
So these are, I see more on volleyball in the corner, side by side, because if the prisoners of war, they cannot fit inside the prison cell, he was brought out, standing some portion of the wall from the Spaniards. The Japanese massacred the prisoners of war. After massacre the Filipinos, using the gas and diesel to burn the bodies. Then the remaining portion of your cadaver is very easy to dispose in the river.
Hindi ako natatandaan. Nani nga siya nila, siya din ako ikin. Diba, mandiri ka tong.
This is another evidence volcanic top is Philippine, but this is the Chinese granite stone, the ballast of the Chinese ship from China, or maybe some also used by the Spaniard because the Spaniard also stopped over in China to get the gunpowder. Chinese is one of the suppliers of gunpowder during the time.
Oh wow, okay.
Like they said themselves, they want to see them. So they have no sign.
Huh? It's okay. No, it's okay.
So it's a wood carving in the top. 1982 is what should have been. But the original like that is a stone. So the crown of king is showing to the public, and the kingdom of Aragon and Castel showing to the public the Philippine under Spain.
So the Filipino people are under the horse.
Yeah, under the horse, the Moors.
Or the Moors.
Killed by Saint James because Saint James is origin in Spain that fight to the Moors. But he was passed away. That's another story. That one day when the Spanish fight to the Moors, like a ghost facing to the sky, that Saint James ride a white horse to guide the Spanish military to fight against the Moors.
Okay.
Like the spirits. And some history that most of the places, some places that covered by the Moors, when Saint James facing to the sky, that's the time some Moors voluntarily withdraw, and Spanish almost took control again. Like a miracles in terms of ghosts,
Yeah.
to guide the Spaniards how to fight against the Moors. Because during the time, Moors is very strong.
Yeah.
So Spanish under by the Moors within 800 years, if you imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the late 700s to late 1400s.
Yeah. Pwede na? Since the 1590, Gomez Perez Dasmariñas made by stone. Baluarte de San Lorenzo and Palsabraga de Santa Barbara strengthened as part of defenses for the enclosures.
Oh wow. Okay.
Second floor is here. Second floor hit by bomb. Through and through, the Sherman tank destroyed this wall. Because this is the main door or main door, and this is the second door. The second floor. But only the walls remain, stand, survive, is always preserved. So some portion that totally collapsed during the war is never restored.
Okay.
So this is the only the fort. What is the oldest fortress is only here. Like 2 hectares and 1/2 the land, like very powerful to control the enclosures during the time.
Oh wow.
The first Spanish military houses made by stone with their family, and the corner is the house of the Governor General, and later on transferred to the other one closer to the church. The second house is made by volcanic stone because the Spanish found the volcanic stone, military barracks, and also the schoolroom of the Spanish military PT officers. Straight ahead, that's part of Baluarte de Santa Barbara, the center of defenses to control the delta of the river. And everything, British also, after Japanese, but more on destroyed during the war. So this is more on the walls remain stand survive, always preserved as part of World Heritage in Manila. The walls of Intramuros.
Oh.
Okay? So this is the monument present to our great grandfather to open the minds of the Filipinos to revolt by bloody freedom. But one of his dreams is they want to fight by peaceful process. That's why he wrote more propagandas and he wrote his two books. The books introducing what wrongdoing abuses by the Spanish government and the church. That's why like a virus, like a cancer, the Filipino cannot touch under by the church. But they travel 18 countries, can spoke 26 more local and international European. He was graduated as a medicine doctor, practiced as eye doctor in European country, writer, novelist, sculptor, artistologist, scientist. So he's a jack of all trades like Gandhi. So this is Philippine Gandhi to open the minds. So he was arrested and he was executed by firing squad.
Oh wow.
Then after the execution of this guy, that's the Filipino unite together to revolt within 2 years. That's why what is June 12 is the first declaration of freedom against the Spanish government.
Well, why would they kill a guy that had so much ability and contribution to the people?
Because of his book, because of his group to inspire. So rebellion, sedation, illicit informing to the public society because they want to inspire more to fight.
What?
So this guy is the number one public enemy of the Spanish
You said
government.
they wanted to inspire the what?
Yeah, the spark of bloody freedom.
Okay, I understand that.
Yeah, because this is the inspiration of the Filipinos in terms of freedom to the Spanish government.
And so this is in the 1800s.
Huh?
This guy was in the 1800s.
He was born June 19, 1861.
Okay.
But he was executed 1896, December 30.
Oh, you're young.
Yeah, 35 years old young when he was executed. But he's a jack of all trades. Like Gandhi or Uncle Sam.
Yes.
Yeah, that's our great grandfather.
Wow.
And the American recognize as our Philippine national hero. Let's say if you go to third year high school, fourth year high school, you must be read the books of this guy. And before he was executed, he wrote his poem in Spanish. Before you graduated in fourth year high school, before you must be recite his poem. It's in the center of your classroom through Spanish. Adios patria arrojada de león de querida de la muerte.
So muchas personas habla español aquí.
Yeah.
But someone told me that people don't speak Spanish. They said that they speak the language.
The old generation before also
Okay.
can speak, but more on people can speak Spanish. They are elite people because education is more on control. So if you are the Sangli or the poor Filipinos, so you have not too much education. Except the rich people can go to the school to teach. And the Spanish more on focus to study the local dialect than to just Filipino can speak and write, understand Spanish. Because the Spanish government, they want to control our power. But like, not too much educated.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in 1800s, more Filipinos goes to other country to take more education.
Yeah.
So when this Filipino group goes to other European country, he wrote their propaganda showing in the world. Philippines, I'm a Filipino, but it's not good in the country. I'm a Filipino, but no rights against the Spanish government.
Okay.
So this guy is more on to open what is Philippine under the Spanish law, not only in the Philippines, but even in other European countries also. Yeah. And the friars is one of the most very strong to control. Yeah.
Wow.
This is the exact location that he was imprisoned here. Then December 30, after the trial of the court, guilty. The final sentence is the death penalty by means of firing squad. So from here, before start to walk, he met his girlfriend and he decided to get married of his girlfriend, but only pronouncement of wedding because the Spanish priest never allow him to get married because this guy is the number one enemy of the church.
Yeah, statue.
Then goes to the park and he was executed. 35 years old young when he was executed. So
Wow.
1996.
They didn't give him a warning or anything? Like, hey, stop talking?
No.
Really?
1996, 100 years. Government showing the actual height, very short, only 5'3".
He's only 5'3".
Yeah,
But he's just taller than his statue.
all I have put in the top. But everywhere in the Philippines, public school, private schools, towns, and villages, sometimes you can see this monument as Philippine national hero, as American totally introduced that if you are Filipino, you know who is Rizal of your life because he's a great grandfather. That's why the American declared us our Philippine national hero.
Nice. Awesome. Well, he lives on, so certainly his message does.
So another short story of the British. So the governor, the vice governor, General Simondi, and the leader of the Spanish resistance against the British in Manila. So they ordered to withdraw their groups to bring documents and treasure on board the galleons traveling to the north. That's why 20 kilometers away from Manila, they established another government there. That's why more on Mexicanos there, and the Mexican living in the one village, it's already called Mexico, Philippines. That's more on Mexican brought here, like 17,000 of Mexican to help the Spaniards to build more on infrastructure like the churches.
And where's this Mexican Philippines at?
No, the Mexican is from Mexico as under by the Spanish rule.
Oh, where are they at? Where
They brought here.
No, I know. Where is that Mexican Philippine?
North in Manila. It's very far from here. That's when the British took over here. They also brought here. Like the Mexica or Mexico as a village of Mexican.
It's still to this day. Is
Yeah,
a village.
but no, not too much. It's part of the Filipino mestizo blood.
Okay.
Like Mexicano, like Spanish also.
Okay.
They merge together.
Okay. Entiendo. Interesting, man. I didn't know all that.
So smell is not good again.
Yeah.
So this is the longest river that I said. So the volcanic stone from the top of the mountain, they cut there and brought here by boat. So after the war, people American jump to clean, to wash, to swim. But what happened now after 80 years? So this is one of the very polluted river
Okay.
in the world.
You said the Americans, they jumped into the water.
After the war, because they swim.
Why?
Second World War,
Right.
after the war, it's
Yeah.
done. Most of the Americans always jump to enjoy swimming.
Oh, because they couldn't do it before.
Yeah. Enjoy swimming, enjoy wash the clothes because it's a blue water.
And why couldn't they do it prior to the end of the war? Why couldn't they just jump in there prior to the end of the war?
Yeah, because they enjoy.
It was just a celebration. Okay.
Yes.
And what in the past 80 years, what has happened to make it so
Yeah,
polluted?
because what is the 1960? More on developments. The population goes up, infrastructures, industrial company, and this is the main drainage from different cities. That's why what happened to this water now? This is one of the most polluted river in the world.
Yeah.
That's why they smell, the color of the water. See?
Yeah,
Then goes
black.
to Manila, be closer to your hotel.
Right.
That's why even the smell, if you go outside, you can feel something.
Right.
That's another problem.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
But if you across the island, that island is given to the Chinese. That's why this is the biggest Chinese community. If you across the bridge, the small one, the original one, you can see the biggest art in terms of Chinatown in the world is there, the biggest one. Then the oldest Chinatown in the whole world is there, is Philippine Chinatown outside China.
Oh wow.
That's why more of tourists goes there. But not easy for the Chinese to living there because the Spanish built the two churches that all Chinese living there you must be baptized, belong to the Roman Catholic. Kasi most of the Chinese in the Philippines, they are belong to the Roman Catholic also. Then another corner, the black color in the top of the building, that's American Downtown. The center of business, imported goods you can buy there. But after the war, it was moved or transferred in Makati. This is Makati now, is one of the groups.
Wow, interesting.
Eh?
Yes.